Again, what's up, heathens? How y'all doing? So tonight we have M. Benz in the house. He has an experiment that apparently proves that gravity doesn't fucking exist. And he's gonna do it with Pepsi products. So I've got my whiteboard here with me tonight. You can't see it. It's like over there in the nether regions. But I got my whiteboard here, and I practiced beforehand, so I'm not gonna get anything wrong, I promise. But we're gonna be going over, why he's wrong, why gravity is integral to the buoyancy formula as well as weight in general. So, all right, so we've got M. Benz here, of course. His whole image at first, quality flat Earth. I'm sorry, there is no fucking quality at all to the flat Earth. Oh, Sean Taylor's only got 3 days until shill status. Awesome. All right, let's get on into it, shall we?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is MBFE, back with 3.0. That's what we're doing. Ridiculously basic flat earth questions answered. 3.0, people. We made it to 3.0. So,
oh god, he's numbering his crazy fucking videos. I mean, all right, so if you guys don't know, Team Skeptic here on YouTube, look him up on YouTube. Team Skeptic's already done this video, and I have not watched his video, but I highly suggest everybody watching his video, which I should have thought to link in the description or something like that, but maybe my lovely assistant can find it. Team Skeptic's M. Ben's video. But anyways, he did a really great video, and I suggest everybody watching it, but he's numbering his videos. It really baffles me. I can't wait until he puts out his next one, because this shit, I mean, I gotta tell you guys, this shit is just, I had to learn buoyancy this week, guys. Not learn it, relearn it, because I learned it in 7th fucking grade.
You want me to put for...
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
what are we talking about today? Today, we're talking about gravity. And
Yay!
I guess before we move forward with gravity, I should read the definition. I'll put it up on the screen somewhere. Per Google, okay? I'll read it for you guys because I don't want to summarize or put my own spin on it, and all you guys in the comment section goes, oh, you don't understand. You don't understand what you're talking about. Oh, you just don't know what you're talking about. So let me just read it for you guys, okay? Before we even continue with this thing. Gravity, noun. That's right. The force that attracts a body toward the center of the earth or toward any other physical body having mass. For most purposes, Newton's law of gravity apply, with minor modifications to take the general theory of relativity into account. So, how I interpret that, and how most people, if you ask any old Joe off the streets, what does gravity mean and what does gravity do?
All right, we got a super chat. Billy Bob, Arby's isn't real. Wake up, morons. I mean, I don't know. I've been to Arby's and had their food. It's actually actually pretty tasty, depending on what you get. I have to say though that I like that he starts off by defining gravity, but he obviously doesn't actually understand the definition of gravity. He doesn't understand scientific inquiry at all. Anything about science, he's gonna get fucking wrong.
Gravity is the reason why things fall. The reason why if you jump, you do not float, you cannot fly. The reason why you come back down towards the earth, right? I think
Just like this right here, the fact that he puts it in right here as he's talking about gravity, nothing he's saying is crazy yet. But then he puts up this fucking meme right here. Gravitation and co-gravitation. Both books prove gravity is a byproduct of electromagnetism and nothing besides, not to mention the Michelson-Morley experiment, which proves the Earth's not moving, not one little bit. This is fucking wrong on so many levels. Gravity is not fucking magnetism. That's just stupid as fuck. The Michelson-Morley experiment was actually designed to test whether or not an ether exists. That's that mysterious medium that apparently light has to travel through, because like every other version of waves and everything like that has to travel through a medium, so why not light? So they're like, well, there's this ether, and so they tested it and there was no ether, but flat earthers constantly say that it proves that the earth is not moving. No, it just proves there's no fucking invisible wind out there that's allowing light to pass through it. That's all that it proves. And my guess is that you can't actually tell me what the Michelson-Morley experiment was, what it was set up to do, or even what the ether is. Oh, yeah, thank you, honey. Billy Bob again. How much did the government pay you to say that? Let's see. 2 Canadian is like what? $1.50? $1.50. But it wasn't the government. Sean Taylor, Godless Engineer. Do Effies account why our backs compress during the day when we stand up? They are not gonna think that far into it, man. They really aren't, Sean.
We globe believers and flat earth believers all together can all agree on that one, right? I think we can all agree that that's what our general understanding of gravity is at this point.
For the context and purposes of your video here, yes, I will say gravity is the reason why we don't fucking Superman off the earth.
If you throw something in the air, it falls back down due to gravity. You ask anyone, why do masses of water stick to the bottom? Why do masses of water stick to the bottom of a spinning ball? They're going to say due to gravity.
There is no bottom of the earth. In a 3-dimensional space, bottom, top, left, right are relative terms. So yes, we view it as top to bottom because that's just how we always view it. That doesn't mean that that is literally the top and the bottom. To like anything that is affected by gravity, it doesn't matter where it is on the earth. It's not stuck to it like it's goddamn sticky paper, okay? Gravity is taking a hold of it and pulling it closer to the center of the earth. Jesus fucking Christ. I like how he reads the definition and then he totally fucks the definition with a goddamn Satan dildo.
That's typically the answer I get, right? Gravity is the answer, is the key to everything. The big G is what heliocentric enthusiasts like to point to explain everything as gravity. So
that's a little, I mean, that's nuanced, I would say. I don't think that we point to gravity to explain every fucking thing. I do think that gravity is a fundamental misunderstanding that a lot of flat earthers have. So I don't think that you're really representing like how we explain shit. Like we explain a whole lot of things, without the use of gravity. So Reese, but why is gravity different underwater? Godless Engineer, checkmate.
So, now that we got the understanding of gravity out the way is the reason why things fall. The reason why things...
I like this. I put this bullshit on everything. And it's Neil deGrasse Tyson. And he's got a bottle of gravity. These memes are so pointless and don't add shit.
Go down to the center of the mass. The center of the mass, obviously being Earth, is...
Let's see. Yeah, but Godless Engineer, can you tell me how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of the Tootsie Pop? Well, what you gotta do is you gotta go 1 lick, 2 licks, and then you just fucking deep throat that motherfucker all the way down to your stomach, and you eat it whole, including the little stick thingy, because that's got a lot of fucking protein in it. Chris Kelling, super chat. Hey GE, where do I collect? Oh no, that's Corey Morrison. Shit. And Joe. Oh shit. Corey Morrison. Hey GE, where do I collect my Illuminati checks? They're in the mail, I promise. Josiah Hansen. You didn't use testicles. Have taste receptors. It's true, everyone. For today I learned. Oh well, I'll try again. Merry Mythmas. Sorry, Josiah. You know, I picked these things out like 15 minutes or so before, and I didn't have a chance to make that particular today I learned image. So I've got it on the back burner to use in the future. I haven't forgotten it. It's an awesome today I learned. Chris Kelling in space. No one flurfer can science. AJS, insert Desert Falls gravity rant here. Gravity! All right, back to his shit.
The biggest mass we're on, right? Let's take these two ordinary soda cans, right? Pepsi, regular Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, not sponsored. Regular Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, okay? Both 12 ounces of carbonated liquid, same form factor, right? No different between the two, okay? Pretty much the same ingredients. I mean, I know one is made with high fructose corn syrup and one's made with aspartame. They have different sweeteners in them, but we can all agree that they're the same form factor in aluminum cans, 12 ounces, same amount of liquid inside. We're gonna just test this theory of gravity.
Well, yeah, true, but the aspartame in the Diet Pepsi makes it a lot less dense than the sugar that's in regular Pepsi. So, I mean, he's not pointing out, like, I feel like fuck me. Sorry. Da na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. I will take G's a dumbass for 200 there, Alex. All right. So, I feel like he should really specify that one is denser than the other.
Right? So if I drop these, I'm gonna drop these here, put a demonstration up. If you drop both of these cans, they're gonna fall back down to the earth, to the ground, right? They're gonna fall back down to the center of the mass. Can we all agree on that point? I'll show it down here. Me dropping the cans. I don't want to bust them open and spill it all over my house, make a big old mess. But if I drop both these cans, same height, same time, they're gonna hit the ground at relatively the same time because they're the same mass, same form factor, and gravity's pulling them to the center of the mass. Thus far in the video, we can all agree, right? We can all agree that what I'm saying is pretty much accurate of a representation of what we call gravity and how things work here on our Earth, right? Right?
Okay, yes, we can. We can all agree that those cans fell and they both hit at relatively the same time. But, I mean, I have to say that just dropping them like that is a good representation of gravity in general. If you guys will remember, the basic laws of motion still apply. I get that he doesn't like it that Newton came up with it, like these basic laws of motion, but in case you guys don't remember, like the first law of motion is that any object at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. And then the second law of motion is that any force applied to that object will have an equal and opposite reaction. Or wait, hold on. I never get the basic laws, like the laws of motion, correct the first time out because I don't have them memorized. But let's see. The second law explains how the velocity of an object changes when it is subjected by an external force. Right, so that's that one. And then the third law states that okay, so yeah, I always get the second law and the third law mixed up. Fuck me for getting mixed up. But yeah, so the third law is for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Second law, velocity of an object changes when it's subjected to an outside force. So, there we go. Sean Taylor, Pepsi needs to sue M. Benz for defamation and using Pepsi product to tarnish the name of the company. They just need to get their fleet back, if I remember correctly. All right. So, Now that we've covered all these basics and he's been really fucking wordy and everything like that, let's get into the experiment.
So now bringing my experiment together. So lovely wife, can you go ahead and
Oh fuck!
should be
He's got his wife in on this. Here I was thinking that his wife was just like, it's just a fun little thing he does. And it's like, it's not hurting nobody other than, your children. But nope, she's fucking in on it too.
over there. Go ahead and get this going. It's for you, Frankie. Yep. So I'm gonna get this going. I
don't know who the fuck Frankie is.
I have an ordinary pitcher of ordinary water. Nothing special about it. Just a pitcher of water. I'll show you guys some B-roll footage of me probably filling it up with water from the sink. Nothing special, just sink water. Like I said, if I drop this, it's heavy, right? It's gonna fall. If I just drop it in the air, it's gonna fall. If I put it in the water, this thing is dense, not light. If I put it in the water, as so, it's gonna sink to the bottom. Am I correct? Sink.
He just had it sink, said it sinks to the bottom. Am I correct? I don't know. Can you use your fucking eyes? Of course you're correct.
To the bottom because of gravity. Gravity pulls it all the way down to the center of the mass. Obviously, it can't go through the pitcher and the table here, so it's not going to go all the way to the ground, but it's going down to the center of the mass, right?
Okay, gravity is the reason why gravity is the reason why the object is a force that is directed downward into the pitcher, okay? But Archimedes Principle as well as buoyancy is the actual reason why it's actually dropped down to the bottom of the pitcher, which, I mean, those things rely on gravity. They take gravity into account, but I mean, he's acting like gravity is the reason why it got pulled down, and that's very disingenuous because it's actually the fluid dynamics of the can and the water and everything like that that is causing it to go down, not necessarily gravity. Gravity plays a part in it, but is not the complete part.
It's going all the way down to the bottom.
Also, Team Skeptics in the chat, find his name, click on it, go subscribe to him right now. I mean, you just need to. Don't even think about it. You don't got to think about it. Just subscribe to Team Skeptic.
And staying at the bottom. Thus far, we can all agree that what me and you are both seeing here is an accurate representation of gravity, correct?
It is a representation of gravity, but it's because of the fluid dynamics. It's not because gravity pulled it down to the bottom of the thing. Gravity does, but it's the fluid dynamics of the can and the water and everything like that that actually allows it to go down instead of floating on top or sitting on the very top of the water. Those things require gravity, of course, but I mean, he's misrepresenting the situation here.
Moving on to my next thing. I'm probably gonna need a towel after this one, but I'm gonna watch hand. All right, we're gonna getting water everywhere. She's looking at me all crazy right now. Don't worry, my phone's waterproof. Okay.
Okay, JC. He must know the law of he must know the law of attraction works because I'm repelled. Shaboing!
So, we tried that with the regular can of Pepsi. Again, same form factor, same liquid. The only difference is the aspartame and the high fructose corn syrup. Now, we have this ordinary can. As you guys see, of Diet Pepsi, nothing crazy about it. I'm gonna drop this in the same container of water. Again, regular water from the faucet, clear container of water, and let's see what happens. What? That's not, something ain't right. What?
Oh,
something
shit.
is not right here. What happened? What? Babe, turn on the gravity. Why'd you turn off the gravity, babe? Turn it back on.
Okay. So thank you, Swiss Man Jap. I don't know how I feel about saying that name. Um, for your donation. Okay, so he wants to know why, and I got an explanation for him, which I'm sure Team Skeptic did a much better job of explaining, but I'm gonna give my own version of it. Bringing out the whiteboard. Hold on a second. Yeah, honey, I'm working on it. Yeah. What is this? There we go. Okay.
Oh my god.
Sorry. Excuse me. Been drinking beer. So, M. Benz, you want to know why the one soda can dropped and the other soda can floated. So, we've got our two soda cans, right? All right, so we got our two soda cans. One diet floats, regular sinks. The important thing that you have to understand about this situation is Archimedes' Principle. Archimedes' Principle says that for any object that is submerged in a fluid, you are going to displace the weight of the object in fluid. So, like, the weight of the fluid that is displaced is the same as the weight of the object. And Terrence Clark, every good physics lesson should start with a burp. Thank you for understanding. So that's Archimedes' Principle. And to apply Archimedes' Principle, you also have to understand that there are a couple forces at work here. For one thing, the force of the object. The object can be represented as a force as it is actually like on a vector down. And we know that's because of gravity, but for the flat earther's sake, we're just going to say it's the force of the object. And then you've also got a force of buoyancy pushing up. Huh? I got him. Force of buoyancy pushing up on that object. This is why you feel lighter in water. It was because that force of buoyancy. Now, another important thing to understand is that the equation for buoyancy is, see if I can write it like this. Hold on. You guys buying me yet? Okay, well, I'll keep doing it. Rho, which is the density of the water, and then the volume of the displaced water, which the volume of the displaced water is going to equal the weight of the object that is displacing the water. Density times volume times the acceleration due to gravity, which is a constant. That's 9.8 meters per second. That doesn't. I'm using G here because that's the normal way to represent it, but you have to understand that this is something that is constant on the Earth, regardless of whether or not you believe in gravity or not. This is what this is the acceleration due to dropity or gravity or whatever the fuck you want to say it is. That's what people call it. So this is the buoyancy formula, and this particular G is very important to understanding the fluid dynamics of what's going on in M. Benz's video. Now, what we do know is that in a 12-ounce can of soda, you have 355 milliliters of fluid, which is 355 grams as a base weight for either of these cans, and then you have to add in the sugar. So for the sugar or aspartame, sweetener. So for the diet soda, you add just the 0.1 grams,
Which comes from the back.
which this all comes from the nutritional information on the back of the can. You can look. But the regular soda ends up being 394 grams, right? So this is very important because they're both same amounts of volume, but they have more mass packed into that volume for the regular soda. So when you actually perform all these calculations and you find out that for the diet soda, you have the you have the force of buoyancy as being greater than the force of the object. That's the reason why it floats. Now over here, having the two forces pushing down, you would have the force, which you guys can see it. The force of buoyancy would be less than the force of the object, causing the object to drop to the bottom of it and to, more denser material if that exists below it, wherever the fuck, right? So that's why the regular Coke sinks, is because it's a denser object. He would say that this proves that gravity doesn't exist because it's just density and buoyancy. But my argument is that you can't actually use the density and buoyancy argument because intrinsic to density and buoyancy and weight, intrinsic to buoyancy and weight is gravity, motherfucker! Every science lecture should end with that. Gravity, motherfucker! Gravity is essential to this entire situation, okay? So I just thought that I would give like a semi sort of scientific intellectual description of what's actually going on. The forces that are acting on these two things are something that you cannot escape. You have to account for the force of the object being directed through the water. You also have to account for the force of buoyancy that's pushing back up onto that object. These are things in observational reality that you can experience. When you jump in water, you feel lighter. You do not feel the same weight. So there has to be some kind of force that's pushing up on you that is causing you to feel like you weigh less. You have to account for these things. You can't just brush them off. You can't just sit there and wallow in your ignorance and just be like, no, but gravity just doesn't fucking exist. Rah. That's what he fucking does. Oh, goddamn. All right, hey, Team Skeptic, how'd I do? Was that all right? Anybody that's well-versed in buoyancy and Archimedes Principle, did I do okay? Just let me know.
Skeptic.
Oh, okay. All right, let's continue with this bullshit fucking thing. He asked, hey, could you flip on the gravity? Like it's a fucking switch on the wall, which is that's stupid, but, it's M-Benz.
So the can can float all the way down to the bottom like the other can did. Turn the gravity back on, stop playing. What happened to the gravity? So...
All right, he's asking what happened to the gravity? The gravity's still there. It's still a good experiment to show like the effects of gravity. It's important to know that we wouldn't have that kind of dynamic without gravity. But you also have to understand the complex fluid dynamics that go into this, because without gravity, then the fluid dynamics would be meaningless, obviously. But like we wouldn't have ships. Like ships use the buoyancy principle, Archimedes principle, in order to float. Fish have a special bladder, inside of them that they can inflate. The fish have a bladder that they can inflate with water and deflate, and that's how they can actually move up and down in their bodies of water. And then you've also got submarines who operate on a similar principle. So Archimedes principle and buoyancy and everything like that, these are important things. And we wouldn't have a lot of the shit that's out there now if those things didn't depend on gravity. If they didn't take gravity into consideration, we would have no ships that float. Fish would just lose their fucking minds and, like, I don't know, float out of the water or something. I mean, holy shit. Oh fuck, oh fuck.
Ahead, huh?
Oh yeah, just the tip.
We can all agree, going back to refresh some of you guys who don't remember 3 minutes earlier in the video, gravity is supposed to pull things to the center of the mass. Again, drop these two cans. They both fell down to the ground. One did not float like this one. I put this can in the same water. It sank down to the bottom and stayed there because gravity, as we can all agree, is pulling it down.
Gravity is still pulling it down because the can still has weight. There's still that force of the object, which is actually the force of gravity in that system. It's being pulled down. It's just that the force of buoyancy pushing back up against it is greater than the force of the object. That's the reason why. I mean, you could compare it to the reason why you can stand on dirt and not fall through dirt. I mean, it's the exact same reason. The dirt is more dense than you are. Or, well, I guess I think that, yeah, it would be, because water's density is like 1,000 kilograms per meters cubed, and dirt would be a lot more dense than that.
Right? I put a can of Diet in there, and it floats. Why does it float?
I just explained it to you, but I did comment on his video basically explaining why he's wrong about everything, and he's just like, nope, I do not have any kind of want to discuss this thing with you. Like, I mean, you could go look at it for yourself. I have the video linked, and you can see my comment in there. And he's just like, nope, I don't want to. And he's like, well, why don't, instead of just talking shit about me, you do an experiment to prove me wrong? It's like, motherfucker, I don't need experiments. I have math.
And a whiteboard.
And a fucking whiteboard, bitch. I mean, I could get the ukulele and sing it if you want to. Hold on.
Michelle would like that.
I know Michelle would like that. Let's see. It means you're a dipshit. Buoyancy explains it, but it requires gravity.
Where is the gravity? What happened? So let's go ahead and let's ask Google. Let's just ask Google, why does Diet Coke float? Regular soda contains sugar as a sweetener. The difference in the amount dissolved sweeteners leads to a difference in density. Cans of regular soda tend to be more dense than water, so they sink. Cans of diet soda are usually less dense than water, so they float. More dense and less dense.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, that's how buoyancy works. That's the primary thing behind buoyancy, is how dense an object is and how dense the medium it is in. But at the same time, both of those, like not both of those, but buoyancy requires gravity as well as weight requires gravity. Without gravity, there's no weight and there's no buoyancy. So, I mean, you can't just wipe away the gravity in the force of buoyancy formula.
So they sink, the other one floats. Nowhere in there does it say gravity has an effect, and that is the reason why the cans fall down.
I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Now, Benzie, I'm kind of curious. Now, I'm no mathematician person. I've just got a minor in math. That's a true fact. You can look it up, I think. But there's a fucking G in this goddamn formula right here, and it's the acceleration due to gravity. You say that it doesn't mention gravity, but it doesn't exactly have to mention it in order for it to be in the fucking formula.
Better?
Yeah. Whew.
So you can't say when I dropped the cans just in midair and they both fell that was due to gravity.
The air is less dense than fucking water. That's why a Diet Pepsi can doesn't float in mid fucking air.
Because if that's the case, then we should still be experiencing the same thing here. This can should be at the bottom of this pitcher and not be floating at the top right here.
You would only say that because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Floating at the top. It should not happen.
No gravity exists. Objects behave differently depending on the medium. Well, that is a true statement, but they only behave differently in different mediums because of fucking gravity.
Because gravity is the same thing when I dropped them in the air. They should both sink to the bottom.
What? Arduin, thank you for your comment here. If gravity wasn't a thing, wouldn't the can be all the way on top of the water? I would say so. Well, I mean, with gravity, if gravity wasn't around and there was no force acting on the thing, then yeah. Well, it would, but excuse me. There's larger ramifications to this, because you have to understand that the fluid dynamics is not only part of the water system that he is showing here. Fluid dynamics is integral to the air that we live in and breathe in and everything like that. Like it's integral to like every fucking thing, okay? So if gravity didn't exist, then we would basically have to like live, I guess, maybe on top of the atmosphere. But even then, if you remove gravity from fluid dynamics, then I mean there would be no atmosphere. And and it wouldn't displace the water. Like you take gravity out of the equation, and it's just like fucking it fucking messes everything up.
If you cannot agree on this, then you are just indoctrinated. You're seeing things. You guys probably, are you heliocentric enthusiasts, probably have a science.com copied and pasted answer ready to.
Me, what first-hand experiments have you conducted? Globe believer. We don't do that here. For one thing, you don't necessarily have to do like actual hardcore experiments, like scientific experiments, in order to prove something. You can prove something mathematically, and then you can confirm it through experiments. But even so, like my explanation of buoyancy and everything like that is just as good as your demonstration of buoyancy here. They both show different things. This right here allows you to visualize the data that is actually the data of the situation that's actually going on. The experiment that you did allows you to visually see it in action. So there are two different purposes there. Chris Kelling, I'd love to hear how he explains heavier than air flight. Well, here you go. Here's how he would explain it. Well, you see, the air is just kind of fucking there, okay? And then the plane takes off, and it just sort of, I don't know, just goes through the air and some shit. I mean, I can't even make this shit up, honey. I'm trying hard to make up some dumb fucking shit, but, like, it's easier when it's like, why is there an outlet in this tree? Like, it's easier for that than it is fucking flat earth bullshit. And I hate just like Peachy in the comments there, I hate the science.com shit too. He uses science.com as a catch-all for any kind of scientific website or any kind of intellectual website that gives you scientific information. It's just like, oh, I'm sure you got a science.com answer. No, they're not science.com. They're just scientific fucking answers, M-Benz.
Go down to my comment section for why we see this phenomenon right here. But the simple fact remains is that gravity is a theory. It has not been proven.
Gravity does have a theory, but it's also a law, and it's a fucking fact that it's there.
It cannot be replicated. It cannot be testable, repeatable, measurable.
Okay, he's saying that it's not, but I mean, he did an experiment where he tested fucking gravity. Jesus fucking Christ. Help! Gravity is trying to pull me to the center of mass. No, you're fucking denser than the goddamn water and you're sinking. Yeah, or apparently you don't know how to swim. Yeah, I mean, if he laid on his back and inflated his lungs, he wouldn't be like drowning or whatnot.
Measurable and observable. It is all in your imagination. Gravity. So I'm tired of people. Again, like I said in my last video, I don't think you guys understand the gravity of the situation here.
I don't think that you understand the gravity of the situation. Because regardless of whether or not you want to call it gravity or whatever, there is a measurable 9.8 meters per second squared acceleration due to what the fuck ever you want to call it. Call it gravity, call it droppity, call it whatever the fuck you want to. You still have to account for it. You have to account for weight. Weight depends on gravity. So if you're going to erase gravity, you have to come up with something else that explains why things go down. Basic laws of motion. If something is at rest, it will remain at rest until acted upon by an outside force. So, like this bottle of Bud Light should literally just stay up in the air unless another force acts upon it after I let go. So,
God, are you gonna drop a glass?
no, I'm not going to drop a glass bottle. So you let go of it, and of course it goes down because of gravity, as we know it. But on the flat earthers side, they have to explain why, like what force is causing this to go down. Not necessarily pushing it, because gravity is more of a pull, but you get what I'm saying. There's this force that's causing it to go down. It acts that way. So what force is that? I don't care what the fuck call it Dr. Seuss force or whatever the fuck you want. Call it the space force. I don't give a fuck. Just call it whatever and accept that it actually exists. Kiwi H says, why can't we grow and touch the dome? Because none of us are the fucking Groot monster guy. It just can't happen. I mean, there's that one flat earther who thinks giants chopped down the trees and made mountains or something, but yeah, that's why we can't.
You guys use gravity to explain a number of different holes. I like to call them holes. Some people call them plot holes in movies, but holes in your theory, in your heliocentric theory. You guys use gravity to plug a lot of those holes.
Okay, then what do you plug the holes with? Because, like, you can look in a telescope and see other goddamn planets and bins. Like, this is not, it's not that hard, okay? You can look at different shit out in space through a telescope, and I get that you don't think they're planets, but they are.
PG said I'm actually more disturbed by the existence of Bud Light Lime than Flippers.
You know what? Don't shit on me and my Bud Light flavors, okay? I don't want to hear it. I wish I could drink craft beer, but I can't.
And where's gravity at now? Where? Somebody show me where the gravity is at. Because this phenomenon cannot be explained. So does gravity work one way and not the other? Come on now, people. Start using that.
This is a totally inaccurate meme. Like all of his memes, but still. Typical debate with globe believers. Flat earther. He's got all of the fucking knowledge like he's goddamn Donald Trump or Ben Shapiro over there. Then the globe believers just got the NASA symbol and he's screaming at the other guy.
Did you mean Ben Carson?
No, Ben Shapiro.
Oh, okay.
This is totally inaccurate because it's exactly swapped. Also, he doesn't debate people. I have asked him to, and he will not debate anybody. He's steadfast in the bullshit that he spits, and he's not willing to actually challenge his whole thing.
Start using your common sense. I know they like to tell you don't use your common sense and don't trust your own common sense, but it is okay to trust your own common sense and your own judgment. So
actually, it's been proven that common sense, or like what is it? Something wisdom. What is it called? I can't remember. Common sense is usually fucking wrong.
They tell you that masses of water are being stuck to the outside of a spinning pear hurtling through space due to gravity. You show them this video and you say, please explain this one to me.
I can! I fucking look. Oh fuck! Oh shit! Oh my god! Honey!
What?
I fucking explained it on a dry erase board!
You did it, honey. You did good.
I fucked him up good, right?
Yeah, you did
I
it,
fucked
baby.
him up!
Talk, M. Benz.
Because I bet you they won't have
Even watch this shit.
I don't know.
an answer for it. Because they don't. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for 3.5 maybe. Or 4.0.
Oh, fuck, yes, do a 3. Okay, so in the 3.5, in the 0.5s, he takes like a single comment or whatnot, he highlights it, he makes a video about it, and he publishes it. And I really, really fucking hope he picks like my comment or like Team Skeptic's comment or something. I mean, I would just love to hear him explain everything that I've just done. I really would, because my guess is he'd be like, you know what? I'm not all up on this whole science-y shit. I just work off of observational reality. It's like, oh, okay, is it observational reality that your ass is lighter in water? Oh, it fucking is? Explain why you're lighter in water. I don't know, you just fucking are. Why you gotta be all nerdy and shit about it? Oh, okay, there, M. Benz. You're very, very compelling in your bullshittery.
You guys keep it flat out there. Peace.
Okay, now he's going into his outtakes that he had.
Oh, my watch hand. Oh, my watch hand.
Oh, his watch hand, honey. He can't get his watch hand fucking fucking wet.
My watch hand. All right, we're gonna getting water everywhere. She's looking at me.
Well, I mean, I get it, but I mean, he like reached in with his watch hand. It's like you fuck up your hand and you go to reach for the door with your fucked up hand.
You know, crazy right now. I didn't think this far ahead. Don't worry, my phone's
I didn't think this far ahead. No, you fucking didn't.
waterproof. Okay. So, I actually probably need to fill this back up with the same amount of water. So, hold that thought. You can bring like a cup of water. No.
Okay, I'm holding my thought. I would agree that it would be important to put the same amount of water back in if you were trying to measure the volume of the cans and you were trying to get an accurate reading. But regardless of how much water is in it, you're going to get the same. Result. Thank you. So, all right, that's it for M. Benz tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and we got the comments. Okay. So thank you, heathens, for joining me tonight. If you're going to be heading on out, I appreciate you guys joining me. If you will, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of dumb shit on this channel. And don't forget to stand up, use your voice, all that kind of good shit. Leave me a comment at some point in the future, and I guess we'll see you heathens later.